What do software engineers actually do at big companies?
That's a tricky question.
Yes, that's why I talk to engineers from Google,
Amazon, Microsoft,
and try to understand कि ये लोग exactly करते क्या हैं.
तो नेटवर्क का एक प्रोप्राइटरी ओएस है जिसको हम ऑन टैप कहते हैं. This works as a
अरे कहना क्या चाहते हो?
And what about their salaries? Is it above 1 crore? Which programming languages do they use?
And language-wise, we use Python.
And some hard-hitting advice for Google interviews.
If you have a single missing HE, you don't get selected.
So let's start with the video. Your name?
Anshul.
And where do you work?
I work in Amazon as a research scientist.
So research scientist actually करता क्या है Amazon में? क्या काम होता है आपका?
So basically, research scientist role entails कि हमें ML-based solutions बनाने हैं to customer problems. So for example, our team works on ranking the product. So whenever you search something on Amazon, any XYZ product, you get the list of those results, right? So those results are ranked according to an algorithm. And our job is to maintain that algorithm, improve upon that algorithm, and basically help customers have a good experience on the app. For example, if suppose someone is searching for, let's say, branded utensils, so they type in the query like good brand utensils, we would discover that intent and they give utensils from brands like Hawkins or Philips, Pigeon. That way, you know, ML comes into the picture and that's how you do all those.
तो जो भी results आते हैं उस टाइम पे जो उसका रैंकिंग होता है वो आप लोग देखते हो. एंड आप Amazon में हायर कैसे हुए और कितने टाइम से काम कर रहे हैं Amazon में?
So I seeked a referral from a senior applied scientist, and I was able to get a referral, and then I cleared the interviews. Okay, and I joined Amazon in December 2021, or like it will be around 2 years in December.
Which programming languages do you use और tech stack कौन से use करते हो आप?
So as a research scientist, we don't use many programming languages. The only programming language we rely on is Python, because Python is the lingua franca language of choice for data scientists. The tools that we use several AWS services like S3 for object storage, and AWS SageMaker is very important, wherein we do all our work. So all prototyping is done within SageMaker. So AWS is the key tool that we use. And language-wise, we use Python.
And which college are you from?
I'm from IT Bombay.
And जो ये machine learning role है, research scientist role है, जो इसमें salaries होती हैं, so are they different from a normal SD front-end back-end engineer?
Not really. Within Amazon, not really. Honestly, I don't know about other companies. I haven't looked into the salaries of other companies. But within Amazon, RS and AS are compared to their SD counterparts slightly above. There's not a huge gap. It's slightly above. So for example, RS1 is also L4, SD1 is also L4. But RS1 is a slightly higher salary compared to SDE1. My reasoning behind that is because they generally hire masters and PhD students for research scientists. So that's where.
Oh. Your name?
Dhruv Gupta.
Where do you work at?
So I work in a cloud data storage / management company called NetApp.
And at which role do you work?
So currently I am MTS 3, just got promoted.
Congratulations. And what do you exactly do actually? मतलब क्या काम करना होता है वहाँ पे day to day basis पे?
तो NetApp का एक proprietary OS है जिसको हम ONTAP कहते हैं. This works as a server, so it can be a server for NFS, SMB. The capability of this OS, we provide in clouds, the 3 major clouds, which are AWS, GCP and Azure. इसमें जो NFS और SMB है, these are protocols. Let's say you have a server, which in our case is ONTAP, and you have various clients. So each of these clients, they can access a volume. So our department is actually cloud volume services. You can mount that volume, and that volume's data is actually hosted on your server, right? Basically work as a shared drive, you can say, in case of SMB और NFS में you can say a volume. ये जो capability हम cloud में provide करते हैं.
तू समझा? हाँ. नहीं, तू समझा नहीं.
तो ये थोड़ा नेटवर्क साइड वाला रोल है क्या, मतलब या फिर प्रॉपर बैकएंड इंजीनियर, कैसा काम होता है इसमें?
तो मतलब क्योंकि हम जो फंक्शनैलिटी प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं वो हम क्लाउड में प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं, जो एक्चुअल बैकएंड है वो दूसरी टीम देखती है. सो आई वुड से इट्स अ मिक्स ऑफ नेटवर्किंग एंड बैकएंड.
ओके. एंड हाउ डिड यू गेट हायर्ड हियर?
सो आई जॉइंड हियर एज एन इंटर्न एंड देन गॉट कन्वर्टेड.
एंड व्हिच कॉलेज आर यू फ्रॉम?
बिट्स पिलार.
एंड इसके इंटरव्यूज में आपसे क्या पूछा गया था?
मतलब इसमें आप ऐसे अज्यूम कर सकते हो कि 3 से 4 राउंड होते हैं. तो फर्स्ट 2 राउंड्स आर coding rounds, the third round is the design round and fourth is the managerial round.
So मतलब लीड कोड, DSA प्रॉब्लम्स ये सब पूछते हैं. और आपने कितने अराउंड DSA प्रॉब्लम्स या लीड कोड सॉल्व किए होंगे?
तो मेरा थोड़ा अलग था. मैं प्लेसमेंट में भी मैंने इंटरव्यू बिट थोड़ा ज़्यादा प्रेफर किया था, और फिर लीड कोड एज अ प्रिपरेशन मैंने प्रेफर किया था. तो आई वुड से इंटरव्यू बिट आई हैव डन एक्सटेंसिवली, बट लीड कोड समवेयर अराउंड 150 to 200.
इस काम में कौन से प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेजेस और टेक स्टैक ये सब कौन सा यूज़ होते हैं?
तो हमारे कंपनी में मेजरली जो मैं काम करता हूँ वो गोलैंग पे काम होता है, और कुछ जो प्रॉक्सी लेयर्स है उसमें C# में काम होता है, क्योंकि यू कैन से माइक्रोसॉफ्ट।
तो आपको ज्वाइन करने से पहले ये सब लैंग्वेजेस आती थी या जॉब में आगे सीखी?
नहीं, ये C# और Golang is exclusive languages, right? So in colleges we normally learn C++ and Java. So
एंड आप किस ब्रांच से हो?
मैं CSA।
आपकी कंपनी में खाना फ्री मिलता है क्या?
खाना मतलब फ्री नहीं है बट सब्सिडाइज है। लंच 50 to 60 ऑन एन एवरेज।
मैं पिछले 2 घंटे से एटलीस्ट 20 लोगों से पूछ चुका कि मेरी वीडियो में आ जाओ, मेरी वीडियो में आ जाओ, लेकिन सिर्फ एक ही बंदा माना है अब तक। बहुत एफर्ट लगता है यार ये वाली वीडियो बनाने में, सो प्लीज़ सब्सक्राइब कर दो यार। आप लोग सब्सक्राइब नहीं करते हो ये वाली वीडियो देख के, प्लीज़ कर दो यार।
योर नेम?
Nitika.
Where do you work and at which role?
I'm an SD at Amazon.
And which level do you work at, like SD2, SD3?
I'm SD3.
SD3, great. How much total experience do you have?
I have total 7 years of experience.
And how long have you been working at Amazon?
More than 6 years now.
And how did you get hired here?
So a recruiter reached out to me around like 6 years back, and I had a couple of interviews with the team, and I got hired as an SD1 that time.
Okay, then you got promoted to 2, then 3. And how long did it take for you to get promoted?
So from SD1 to 2, it took around 2 years, and then from 2 to 3 took around 4 years.
Great. So you recently got promoted.
Yeah.
And which team do you work in?
I'm part of Amazon App Store team.
And what exactly do you do as an SD3 at Amazon?
I mostly work on high-level design for new products, mainly collaborating with product managers and other SDs in the team. Some goes into code and design reviews as well.
And which languages do you use in your day-to-day life in coding?
Mostly it is Java only.
You're working at such a senior role in Amazon, so you must be taking a lot of SD interviews. So what is the one thing that you look for in a candidate while interviewing?
Yeah, so one major thing I feel is that don't directly jump to the solution. Instead, what we look for is what is the thought process of the candidate, like what is the direction he or she is thinking in.
So what is generally the salary of SD3s in Amazon? Is it above 1 crore?
I think we should not discuss these things. Probably you can go to Blind or something for such details.
What's the best thing you like about Amazon?
I get to work on really interesting problems. I think, yeah, that is the best part here.
Okay. Your name?
Shailja.
And which role do you work at in Microsoft?
I'm a data and applied scientist.
And how long have you been working here?
It's been around 1.5 years now.
And where else did you work before Microsoft?
So I started working as a data engineer at Fractal. After that, I joined Microsoft.
And how did you get hired?
I applied through LinkedIn, the platform everyone considers कि वहाँ पे नहीं लगेगी job. So I applied through LinkedIn. I got an email from HR, and that's how I'm here.
Okay, and how many total rounds did you have?
I had 5 rounds.
What do they ask generally for data scientist interviews?
So my role is a mix of data engineering and data science. So my interview was primarily on the skills I've worked on, mainly Spark and Azure tech stack. Along with that, basics of data science was asked because I was recruited for a very fresher role. Otherwise, DSA is also asked.
And what do data scientists actually do in Microsoft?
Okay, that's a tricky question. That's not a generic thing I can say you. But yeah, overall, we work on training complex models. We work on different data science applications, varying from computer vision, NLP, deep learning, etc.
And which programming languages or technologies do you use?
Programming language, primarily Python. So because all the data science applications can be easily configured through Python and R, but here we use Python.
What's the best thing you like about Microsoft?
I like everything here. So best is culture. The work-life balance here is very good, and you get to work on some best technologies, best tech stack. So career-wise, also there's some very good opportunities. So yeah.
Do you get free food?
Yes. Free food, free transportation, that's also cherry on the cake.
How many hours do you generally work in a day?
So it's a varying thing. Sometimes we work for a very few hours maybe, and sometimes the workload is high, so we have to stretch for around 10 hours also sometimes, but that's very flexible.
So Shailja, आपका interview experience कैसा रहा Microsoft में? Was it tougher than other companies?
So while I was interviewing with Microsoft, I interviewed with many other companies and I cracked around 10 offers also. But one thing that distinguished Microsoft interview experience from any other was here the experience itself was very good. So I remember myself thinking that even if I don't get selected in this process, this interview has taught me a lot of things. So I think the interview here is very different if you interview with any other tech companies. That's my personal experience. It was on the medium harder level. So comparatively, it was a hard interview.
And which other offers did you have when you joined at Microsoft?
I had multiple offers. I can name a few. I had an offer from Paytm, Rapido, Amazon, and few others.
So you did not join Amazon, you joined Microsoft. Why is it?
Microsoft was the dream company since college, and I couldn't crack even the first round when Microsoft visited my college. So Microsoft was the dream company, and when I got the offer from Microsoft, that's what I wanted.
Makes sense. Your name?
Ashutosh.
Ashutosh.
And which role do you work at in Google?
I am a software engineer and I work at L4. I work for the team called Special Flex, which is part of the technical infrastructure org.
And इससे पहले आप कहाँ काम करते थे?
Before this, I was at Oyo. I was a software engineer there for like 3 years. Before that, I was at InfoEdge, which is a Naukri.com group where I was in the 99 acres vertical. Before that, I was in college. So I've been working since 2014 and I've been at Google for a little bit more than 3 years.
And which college are you from?
I'm from NSIT.
And how did you get hired at Google?
So I interviewed at Google in 2020. Yeah, so it was a long interview process, slightly different in the sense that for other companies, they kind of keep getting in touch with you and you have got interviews back to back. With Google, you give one round of interview, then you don't hear back from the recruiter for a long time. 4 or 5 technical rounds, out of which 4 were for coding and 1 for low-level design. The way Google engineers kind of take the interviews, that a lot of times the solutions are not very hard, but the way they describe the problem statement, it becomes intimidating. So yeah, I mean, there are layers around the problem statement that you have to solve first before you think about solving it. And then when you solve it, sometimes it turns out to be just like 20-25 lines. This was a general theme during the coding rounds. And then I had a low-level design round. Important thing in that round was just to be able to design the classes and write as much code as possible in a very short amount of time.
And total कितने महीने चला process पूरा?
It must have gone on for around more than a month. They've got hiring committees who kind of get these packets. If the hiring committee says yes, then the packet goes to the VP or somebody more high level. They could also say no. So they also analyze the packet and what the hiring committee said. You don't get assigned the team like straight away. You get to talk to managers.
So after clearing all the rounds, there's possibility that you won't be hired.
Yes, but it's extremely rare. Also, given the fact that there is a lot of openings in Bangalore office, you got a 1-year window to get to talk to managers and find a match. So it goes both ways. You can also reject a team.
And when you joined Google, which other offers did you have?
I had quite a few offers. I had offer from Microsoft, from InMobi, Ivan Company.
And what's the best thing you like about Google?
In terms of work, there are a lot of complex problems that need to be solved. Being complex, you need time to solve them, and you get a lot of time to solve those problems at Google. We see a lot of senior engineers working on very hard problems and seeing them design like infrastructure, and that's kind of inspiring.
So what do you actually do as a software engineer at Google? Like which programming languages do you work on? Which tech stack?
Tech stack at Google is very particular to Google, so they have their own version control system as well. We don't use Git. We use something called Python, and we don't even use IntelliJ. We use internal ID, which is called Cider. In terms of programming language, Java, C, Python and Go.
So if somebody wants to work at Google, interview at Google, so what's the single piece of advice you would want to give to him?
So again, varies for what role you're applying. If you're applying till L4, L5, where coding is a big part of the interview process, it's necessary not only that you solve the problem, but you write a code that works, doesn't have even a single missing edge case. If you have a single missing edge case, then that's not a perfect interview, and the feedback that will be given to you will be meets. And if you have multiple meets, you don't get selected. I solved a lot of problems on lead code.
How many problems on lead code?
So I solved like nearly 200 problems.
In how much time?
3-4 months. You should be able to solve any medium question on lead code, and that's the bar that you should set for a...
In how much time?
I mean, the interview is 45 minutes long, so you have to be able to solve it in 35-40 minutes.
Next year, पूछना था. Great. So you recently got promoted.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
If you like this video, you will also like these videos, so do check them out, and thanks for watching.